Good afternoon. Yet another beautiful conversation that comes this great afternoon. It has been a little bit raining in country. I want to say that we're a blessed country. Now, on 15th September 2021, the government of Uganda, with technical support from the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, they launched a new national roadmap 2021 to 2025. This is expected to accelerate implementation of the SDGs and the attainment of the third National Development Plan, that is the NDP3, and the Vision 2040. The new roadmap, which follows the expiration of the SDG roadmap in 2026 to create an enabling environment to empower all relevant actors to contribute to the realization of the goals. It will also act as a resource mobilization tool for the 2030 agenda during the NDP3 period and ensure that strategies employed to achieve the SDGs are in conformity with the NDP3 program areas, with intervention on the three broad categories identified as SDG accelerator, that is environment, governance and the industry. Now, to discuss within this layer, we have a couple of people in studios. With me I have Miss Linda Abeja, the Publicity and Partnership Secretary of the Youth Coalition for the SDGs. We have Mr. Angus Nasasira, the Western Region Coordinator, Youth Coalition for the SDGs, and Mr. Nuruddin Businje, a member of the Youth Coalition for the SDGs. Be a part of this conversation online as we're taking this conversation to a bigger wave. If you're a youth and you're there, you're following us around the world, thank you so much, and let's now have this conversation. We're going to look at the roadmap of the SDGs 2021 to 2025 and how best we can tap into that. Good afternoon, gentlemen and lady.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Well, it's exciting to have this conversation. I'll start with you, Linda Abeja. This means inclusion for me. We're having a lady on a conversation that previously has been a little bit much more patriarchal. What does it mean to you when you see the SDGs vis-a-vis the National Development Plan 3, the parish model to be exact, to what we want to achieve as a country?
All right. First of all, for me, how I see the SDGs, I see the SDGs as hope. Especially for the future generation. If you ask me why, first of all, I'm part of the Youth Coalition for the SDGs.
Are you part of the future generation?
My kids are, and also, yes, me too, yes.
That's a better one,
Yes, but for me, as Linda, why I mainly joined this, I was thinking, okay, what kind of world am I bringing my children in?
Okay.
How about their friends? What kind of world are they going to be in? How about their children and great-grandchildren? Now, for me, that was the question that was pushing me to really, really think. And when I got to know about the Sustainable Development Goals, I saw that they were concentrating mainly on the benefits of the future generation, the people who are not yet born today. Now, even knowing that our government was at the forefront of these SDGs, actually they're the ones who pushed for them.
The agenda, yes.
Yes, especially most of the goals, even partnership. Like our country was there at the forefront. And seeing how they have aligned our Agenda 2040. If you look at the document Agenda 2040, it's just the SDGs. If you look at NDP3 right now, the stage where we are in NDP3, it's just the SDGs. For me, I see hope.
Okay.
I see a kind of future that we are creating, a future that we didn't have, but we are creating it for our children so that they can live in a better world than we did.
That's nice. Nuruddin, what she's saying, she sees hope. Do the youth see the hope?
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, that is a good question.
Yes.
My name is Nuruddin Businje once again. I am happy to be here. Now, yeah, the youth are seeing hope. We are seeing hope. This is why we are here.
But?
And I want to employ I want to employ all the young people.
Yes.
To have hope in them. Government has gone ahead to formulate these working documents.
Yes.
The cooperation framework is there.
Yeah.
The NDP3 is there. These are Bibles. You know, I'm a Muslim, we have the Quran that is guiding us.
Yes.
Linda has the Bible. So the young people are supposed to have hope in the SDGs, because government has gone ahead to, we are talking about the roadmap for SDGs.
Yeah.
So there is hope.
There is hope.
There is hope.
Well, Nasasra, when you listen to Abeja and Nuruddin, there is hope. From your community where you come from, especially the Western region, what do you make of what you see? Are we achieving? The political will is there, and it's very exciting that it's there. But at the strategic level, it's very vibrant. When it trickles down, how are we faring as a country?
Well, I would say we are doing well. We are trying anyway to do well. As the young people of the nation, maybe about the SDGs, know that everyone knows about this, and I think that's why the coalition is on. Yeah. See, how do we get to know this? How do we get, by the way, the hope? Yes. Because we realize that the SDGs are now in line with the National Development Plan, which is 3. Yes. I heard you speak about them yoga. I will say that the structures.
To talk about them yoga times.
No. Why would you fear? Because when you come to the SDGs at the Secretariat, we really know that SDG number 1 speaks about not poverty. Yes. And the parish model, when you read well through the parish model, you realize that now the government is bringing this for us. We are saying not poverty. As the young people, it's our role now to know that when I get to the district headquarters, I'm going to say not poverty. This money is there for the young people. So to me, I already see that there is hope. That's 1. 2, going with Nordin telling us that it's a Bible. Indeed, it's a Bible. You know, the more you read the Bible, the more you get to know the Bible. If you want to know how sweet the SDG is, then look out to the
SDGs.
Pay attention to the SDGs, because there are 17. Yes. Every SDG stands alone for itself. It has an indicator to what it's going to bring to the nation. If it's SDG number 1, get to know what is it in. How does the National Development Plan have this for us? If it's number 1 says poverty, we are saying the parish model. When we speak about maybe SDG number 3, which is health, how are the hospitals here? Do we really access them? As the young girls, yes, I've seen teenage pregnancy and there, but how do we access this? If it's partnership, I think we are all here today, the 3 of us, because at one point, we come to realize I cannot work alone. As Angus Nasasra, I had Kugonza Youth Impact Uganda. He's in Smart Youth Network. Linda teaches us how to speak well, and you know, he tells you, no, this is the way you should do things.
I love the conversation, yes.
And you understand, that's SDG number 17. It's partnership. But this now comes back to the National Development Plan that we need to work together as the country now. 1, we well know that we have been poor. That's why we have SDG number 1. So if I cannot work with you, Andrew, Andrew who sits here and say, one day you would even say, Angus has produced something like Angus yogurt. That's still partnership. Speaking about me.
Yes, amplifying it.
To me, I already see that the SDGs are in hope. There is hope. There is that good line that we have that we shall achieve.
When I come back to you, Abijah, he alluded to an analogy of a Bible, that the SDGs and the policy framework that we're coming with as a country, they're more like a Bible. How often do we go down on ground and we have what we call fellowships now with our peers, the youth, to remind them of the SDGs? What mechanics are we using that they understand what we want to achieve? What vehicles are we using? Are we using the right language? Are we using the right tools as a country, from your lenses, Abijah?
From my own point of view, I think when we started this work, the SDGs in 2019 with a group of young people, we were more around the fellowships. Yeah. You get? We were doing fellowships around universities, inviting young people, talking about the SDGs, educating ourselves about the SDGs. But I didn't know about the SDGs till I attended one fellowship. And when the guy was talking about them,
the passion.
You know how pastors preach. I felt like, oh my God,
the Holy Spirit was ascending on you.
Yes, it was. And then I got obsessed with the whole idea of wanting to give back, the whole idea of wanting to leave an impact behind. And now when you talk about localizing the message and popularizing the message, we go back to the recently launched roadmap. Yeah. The roadmap is focused more on not just fellowships, but how do we go ahead and really localize the message so that even someone down there in the village can have it on their fingertips. Our target is to have the SDGs more like a household name, not just as a word, but people actually resonating with it.
And they live with it.
The way someone reads the Bible and lives with it, can we do the same with the SDGs? Wow. So even as the coalition, we produced a video for the young people. We had different young people around the country talking about the SDGs, but that's not enough. We are going to do more. This is just part of it, but I know it's not enough. We are going to do more to localize the SDGs and make sure that the SDGs are everyone can understand them. But
Nurudin, what she's saying makes a lot of sense. How do we recover and build forward better as well as avoiding the derailing of the progress so far achieved in implementing the SDGs?
Now, yeah, thank you so much, Moderator Andrew. We realize that October is the SDG Awareness Month. We want to, first of all, appreciate government and its development partners, the UN, for supporting the entire young people to come and speak about the SDGs. But then, how do we recover from COVID-19 using SDGs as our Bible? Because, you know, when you have stress, for us Muslims, we perform some prayers. If you're looking for money, you perform some prayers, you know.
For the Christians, they will recite a verse in the Bible, tells me so and so.
Yes.
We recite the same with the SDGs.
Yes. So
I think it's what we need as a country.
For us as a country to recover well, we need to plan, but according to the SDGs.
Okay.
So if we want to recover well, looking at education sector, can we now plan following the indicators and the targets of the SDG 3? If we want to recover in the health sector, can we look at the set targets and the indicators? So I want to invite all young people, all planners of this country, all our leaders, to use the SDGs as a mechanism, as a planning tool. When a company is planning to have, is planning a strategic plan for the year, they are supposed to use the SDGs to plan well so that they can recover. If you read the SDG roadmap and then other documents that government has put in place, they can really showcase and tell how we should recover better.
Wow.
Andrew, about how we can recover personally, I would want to say, he said it's a Bible. When you read SDG number 3, I'm in love with that majorly because I believe everything comes back to health. Yeah. The first thing I would encourage the young people is go and vaccinate if we really want to
recover better.
To recover better. COVID is real.
I've seen it, boss. I was on life support.
So it's real. And now the SDGs bring this well to the young people, to the nation, to everyone. I feel it's not only for the young people, by the way. To every person watching, go to every person that can never get this. Go vaccinate. That's SDG number 1. It says well-being of the citizens. No, good health and well-being of the citizens. So you shall not be well minus vaccinating. And COVID is real. So I feel by the time we speak, how are we going to do that? Can we first vaccinate? Can we even max up? It comes back to the SDGs.
That's it.
Thank you.
Coming again to you back, Linda. How do we recover? The numbers of the girl child, the other day we ran a story here that we're having 14,000 girls who were defiled in this second lockdown by their guardians and parents. Those numbers are surging. We have those who have been impregnated. And the other day the president was on national television and he said we can deal with that later. How do we recover from such unbecoming statements from the leadership, and how do we recover from the parents who have badly affected the girl child in the COVID-19 lockdown?
All right then, when you talk about teenage pregnancies and everything, I think
I could see him burning.
I know Angus can't wait to really respond to this.
He will respond to that, yes.
Yes, but for me, from my own point of view, I think almost everyone has been affected by COVID. You get? And we don't expect the government to come to all of us, our rescue.
Of course.
We don't expect maybe the government and the UN to come and say, oh, Durdine, you affected. Okay, 1 million for you.
Yes,
oh, Angus, even you. Okay, 2 million for you, Angus.
Yes.
No, we don't expect the government to do that.
Yeah.
You get? Because we are so many, everyone has challenges.
Yes.
It goes back to us as individuals. It goes back to us taking responsibility and telling ourselves that, you know what, I have a role to play in this. You get? I have a purpose. There's a reason why I'm here on earth. I need to contribute to something. And taking the responsibility within yourself, and you tell yourself that if I don't do this, then who will?
No one will.
No one will.
Wow. That's a great conversation. Angus, you really want to talk about the teenage pregnancy currently, spiking in this country?
I think I've been with teenage pregnancy and all that stuff for some good time. One, I would want to say, still, I will rate everything with the SDGs. I'm here for SDG today.
God be with you. You're banning it.
I think I should at least let the nation know.
Yes.
you said about 14 million, right?
Yes, 14,000 girls.
14,000 girls. Uganda, we are 75% of the young people, whereby the 45% are teens.
Yes.
What do I mean, 13 to 19 years? And we already have now 14,000 of the young girls being defiled.
Yes.
We are forgetting about the word HIV. What comes with this? Yeah, the president, His Excellency, he's my president, he has said about this. It's fine, he's the president. And when you read about SDGs number 3, still health, it tells us of good health. When you read about within that very SDG, we are speaking about HIV, ending HIV by 2030.
2030, yes.
The document has been out, but these 14 girls have been defiled, we do not know their stand. Now let's drive to peace and stability. Do you think we have peace in our families? When these girls are getting pregnant, when you take your case to the police, they just dismiss you because you are poor.
Of course.
Is that peace? I'm still relating with SDGs.
Yes.
Now that's SDG 16.
Yeah.
SDG 16 years. It gives us peace. But the young people do not have peace, by the way. Girls are being raped.
Yeah.
Even when you go to police, they will chase you because you're from a poor family. But what does the SDG do? I believe SDG number 7 would solve everything here. Work with Kugonza, work with Smart Youth Network Initiative. These young people also do something in agriculture, because I well know that teenage pregnancy is real, and we are still here for COVID anyway. But I feel we now need to know what the SDGs have for us. There are 17, at least within the 17, secure one thing you can do. You're already pregnant. For the girl who is pregnant, I would want to say your life has not changed. I didn't carry a diary, just as you see a diary or any book. The first page when you open anyway, that's the first page in life. That's life. You have gotten pregnant. But when you look at that book, you still have some other pages to accomplish.
To open,
If you dare have HIV to the young girl, I would say go and have the ARVs do everything. But my word to teenage pregnancy now is that the president should realize that our nation is still, we don't have peace anyway, to me. I don't mean peace. Security peace, we have really. But
the freedom to express our opinions, and they're not suffocated, the freedom for the girl child to say no, and it is respected as a no.
It's not on.
Oh dear.
I come from the Kato corridor. I happen to be, I represent the coalition from Western Uganda, and I would say I'm proud for this. But coming from the Kato corridor, we have a challenge whereby girls are forced into marriage.
I saw that the research was showing in Tungamo was up there.
Is that peace still? Not really. When one gets married to Angus, Angus could be a drunkard. This girl is not going to have food, she's pregnant. Where are we heading to? I read about Kaware that had around 500 girls who are pregnant. Kaware is kind of poor. This girl gets married at 13. But the SDGs, by the way, we still have solutions for you people. I always believe that, it's the right time, by the way, that now the SDGs
we have this
are
conversation.
Here. I feel, anyway, he said the Bible, it's the right time that we get to read the Bible now and know what does the Bible say. The offices of the SDGs are here at the former OPM. Get some time, get there, and know what is there for us. If you have been pregnant, at least I know there is one way we are going to help, because I've seen this being on. The ministry has put this for us. The Ministry of Gender, we have one called 116, no, 116. In case you're raped, you know, most of the girls do not know about this, and I think the coalition is here to carry this message for the young people. Please, if you're raped, can you do this? Anyway, if I was to speak about teenage pregnancy...
Well, I can tell the passion, those following this conversation on Twitter, YouTube and Facebook. We're discussing about the SDGs with the youth, given that October is the SDG month, as we're trying to assess how are we faring as a country, as a youth bloc. Are we progressive or are we condescending and declining? Coming back to you, Nuruddin, how has the COVID pandemic impacted the implementation of the SDGs? I know there was one time where you could not move to reach out to your peers and the fellowships. How did the pandemic affect the SDG implementation plan?
Yes, now COVID-19, it was a bad time for everyone. And research shows that we really declined for us in the developing countries. For example, people who did business didn't move. We couldn't access the markets. Schools are closed. Business is not moving. There is a lot of environment issues. So this has really affected the implementation of the SDGs. And going forward, still I will invite all people to have plans. We have elected the new leaders in offices, the new councillors, the new youth leaders. At this parish level planning, can we plan looking at the SDGs? What is, because the SDGs are 17, we have no poverty, we have quality education, we have zero hunger, we have climate action, we have decent jobs, we have partnerships, we have strong institutions. So to recover better and to fast track the implementation of the SDGs, we need to replan, but focusing on the SDGs. Yes.
Okay. I'll come back to you a little bit, Linda. When it gets to SDGs, let's talk about the schools. In the entire region, it's only Uganda that is closed. We'll be opening up in Jan, as per the president and his scientists. He says my scientists advised. And that's why I really want to commend Angus here when he says we should go and get vaccinated. Because if it gets to Jan and the scientists tell the president that we have not covered enough, we're still going to stay locked down. Looking at the quality education aspect of the SDG.
SDG number 4.
How do we recover? 2 years, Linda, 2 years, no education. How do we recover as a country?
Actually, that's a tough question. But,
you're going to find a way. The leader of the SDG. We are going. This is a conversation. We are here to find solutions.
I mean, that's a very tough question for me. And personally, the work that I do was greatly affected by this lockdown because I am quality education. I am about human capital development. And by schools not working, it affects the work that I do so much. So now the question is, how do we recover? How do schools recover? I think the biggest thing that every parent should focus on is maybe getting the children vaccinated, the kids, before the time for going back to school starts. Because again, the scientists will say that, you know what, let's close for another year. And it's going to be another year.
I think I have a statement for them today.
But the truth is that these kids have been really, really affected. And many of them have even given up on going back to school. But not only that, the biggest thing that actually we need to focus on so much are the teachers. They too have been really, really disorganized by this whole thing. So how is the teacher who is going to be disorganized help to organize the students? The focus should be the teachers in helping prepare them to take on these kids in school. So I think the best that can be done is ensuring that these kids all get vaccinated in time, so that when the time for opening schools comes, it is safe and we don't have to close the schools. There is a lot that we have to cover.
Angus, most of the teachers are youthful. What is their role in recovery of the education Linda is alluding to? Yes, they need help. But while they need help, they equally need to play a role. What is the role of the youth in emphasizing and making sure that we recover better as a country?
One, to the young people, anyone who is a youth, encourage the other young person to go get vaccinated.
That is one.
Two, can we use what is on now? Because at least I make a call home. And we come from a big family. And I think we are around, I would say 8 cousins. And I always ask them, do you read? Yes, I well know we have 2 years. But most of the young people have lost the guts to read. And maybe I would throw this to the president and the so-called the scientists. Not a scientist anyway.
Yes.
Not until we continue closing schools. We shall always open prison and hospital.
That's the irony.
We are just closing one door. I don't know if the president is imagining this. We are just closing one door, which is school, but we're opening 2 doors. If it's not prison,
it's hospitals.
It's hospitals. Hospitals for the guards to go and get and produce. Most of them do not come back. When we go to prison, the young boys are going to this other school of digging here in Uganda. You find them putting on yellow. And there is this other thing now I see. For the young people, I feel it's the right time that we get to know what we're going to do. Read your books even when you're home. Because I would want to tell you that if you cannot get vaccinated today, then think otherwise. If you cannot read that novel that your father or mother has put over there, think otherwise. Think something that you can do. And now I feel, yes, we are speaking about the young people who are the youth. Anyway, if you cannot advise your brother or sister, this comes back to the fathers, the Andrews.
You are coming. Carry on.
I feel, by the way, it's your role now, the parents, that you should take care of the kids. I realize school has been one thing that everyone would want. Do we continue?
Carry on.
So I realized that school is one thing that we need, is one thing that the government has always wanted. But before school, I was not yet born. We used to have what we call informal education.
Yes, at home.
Whereby I believe Andrew passed through informal education.
I did.
Because we had some just before here, and I realized that was informal education. To me, I think that's what the president, by the way, should encourage now. Informal education, whereby the parents are now speaking to the children, teaching them. Do you know how to dig? If you're a farmer, like in my place, you would have to know how to graze.
Yes.
Because most of us, by the way, have passed through school. There is no that good time that you will learn how to graze. Now, this is the time, by the way, the fact that we're in the lockdown. If your mother is good at being a shopkeeper, can you teach this girl how to be?
Yeah,
he's a good farmer.
Skills,
he's a good farmer. He has taught me how to dig in a Obrova. So I think if this formal education is not
the parents need to be intentional with grooming children.
I feel this is what we need, because one, we have not yet vaccinated. That's the truth. Minus vaccination, I fear the scientists will still tell us the same. So my courage is now on the parents and maybe the young people like us. How often do you tell your sister who is in senior one to read? You know, it carries some water when you say, Nora, did you please read today? What did you read?
Yeah, share what you read.
Something like that, at least for the young people. But the parents, we need informal education, I feel.
Wow. The conversation is still ongoing. We are having this conversation about the SDGs as a country. Linda, is it realistic from your lenses where you sit and stand, is it realistic in the face of COVID and with all the challenges we have seen as a country to talk about leaving no one behind?
Actually, I think this is the right time to talk about leaving no one behind. Why? Because everyone has been affected. Everyone has been affected. And you see, if we are going to develop to where we want to be by 2030, it's high time we went, because right now we're almost on the same level. Okay, not all of us.
We're back to zero.
But so many of us are back to that level. So it's much easier to now start pulling.
Everyone.
Like we all go together. Like we go together. But then the beautiful thing about this is that we have to take responsibility. In addition to what Angus was saying about parents taking responsibility, yes, the COVID situation has been there. Even if we see it from the negative aspect of it, I think I'm conditioned to look at things from the positive aspect of it. Parents have had time to spend
with their children,
to spend more time with their children. And then they've been in position to learn more about them. I was talking to a parent this morning, and he was telling me that my son was having bad grades at school, but it's until the lockdown came that I started to pay attention, find out why this boy actually scores poorly. And I was also talking to another parent last time, and like, my daughters, I don't know where they picked from the values that they have. I don't understand my daughter at all. So I've decided this young one, I'm not taking him to school. I'm going to homeschool him, and I teach him the values that I want to teach him.
As a parent.
You get? So parents taking responsibility, it's very good. I'm not saying that they shouldn't go to school. Yes, they can go to school, but still this opportunity, the parents can take it on to educate their children with informal education. Because the SDG is about us taking personal responsibility and not waiting for the government to do for us everything.
That makes sense. Much as she's saying that we should take the initiative to drive the agenda from a personal point of view. Nuruddin, what is government not doing right You see, we are not going to be here and we praise and we give ourselves tasks and call to action when the powers that be are not being checked and when we don't challenge them. What is government failing us as a country in achieving the SDGs, especially the youth bloc?
Yes, government is by the people, for the people. And the SDGs, the reason that's why you have SDG 17 is partnership, to work together. Now, leaving no one behind the role of government, we have two players here in the implementation and realizing the SDGs. Number one is government, number two, private sector. We have companies like Airtel, MTN, they have gone ahead to hype the cost of internet. Speaking about education and better recovery.
Wait a minute. The telecoms, you're saying they have hiked the prices of data.
Yes.
Right? But you realize that their hiking comes from a government policy.
Yes. So our prayers is private sector sit with government and harmonize. I don't know, we need to have a platform where young people, for us that are affected, speak to either government or private sector.
This is the platform. You're talking now to the government. That's what I'm telling you. Don't be nice, because if we don't talk, no one is going to talk. So from your lens as a leader, from the region where you come from, your voice represents thousands of voices. What is government not doing, right? You don't beat Panya, Papa. You stay on the route. Comrade, this is the revolution of SDGs. You stick on the road and you say, I think I'm not convinced here. Government is not delivering enough here. Maybe we could do this better. If we have this uncomfortable conversation, that's how we can move forward as a country.
Yes. Okay. Government needs to talk to private sector so that they can lower the cost.
Okay.
And government,
cost of what?
The cost of internet.
Okay.
I run a startup called Merchandise Uganda. We support businesses to access local markets and international markets.
Wow.
But we use this through the use of internet. Government has gone ahead to block some of these platforms that we use to showcase our products to Kenyans, to Southern Sudan.
Platforms like?
Facebook.
See, that's what I want you to.
And is more like
So our prayers as the youth, we pray that government chill the pride, unblock Facebook, talk to private sector to lower the prices of internet, remove the taxes. There are things that we can really tax. We can tax cars. You know, I can live without a car.
Yes.
But I cannot live. The only medication to COVID-19 is information. If you're not told to wash your hands, if you're not told to put on a mask, you will die of COVID.
Of course.
Angus, if he doesn't tell you that you should go for vaccination, you will die. So, internet enables us to communicate very well. So we request government to lower the prices. We request private sector to really support small-scale businesses to access markets. We request partnerships. So what government is not doing well is putting up a platform where we can interact
freely.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll get back to you.
Wow.
Linda is banning there.
Yes, I'm so much like banning, and thank you for bringing up this topic.
Yes, very uncomfortable conversation, but we need to talk.
We need to talk, right? And so for me, there are two things. The first is the entrepreneurship policies, especially for startups. And then secondly, the second policy goes on the internet. You see, the generation where we are today, the world we are in today is the information age. You get it? The countries are moving faster because they have access to information. And where is the best place to get information? The internet. Even if our education system, even if our lecturers, maybe our education system is not the very best, the internet is the way to get an equalizer. You're going to get to attend a course by maybe a Harvard teacher or some experts around the world, maybe on Udemy at only $199 or even less, or even $14. Those courses are there. Whereas education is expensive, you can access cheaply over the internet. You know, I'm a coach and we train a lot of people, and it's easy to get Somali students to apply for these courses because for them, at $5, you have over 20 GB for the whole month. So these people take over all the learning opportunities online. But you're going to find a young person can't even get the little. You see, $14 is not too much for a young person to pay to study online. But data.
In Uganda?
No. Okay, let me say this.
$14 is little money.
We'll get back to you.
But now the
We're
challenge,
still international.
no, in comparison to 500,000 to get a certificate.
Oh yeah, here in Uganda.
$14 is actually very affordable.
Yes.
You're going to pay that $14, but then the challenge is going to come with the internet.
Yeah.
The internet is more expensive than even the amount of money you're paying to study for the course.
So the education is affordable, but the enabling tool to access it is expensive.
Very expensive.
I don't know if we saw something, our digital, our generation, right?
Yes, that is the slogan for the girl child in this year.
Not only there, even business nowadays. You have to know how to use the online platform to market your business. You get, but then the government is making it maybe very hard. Or sorry, not the government. Okay, the policies that they pass on, and according to the taxes that they tax. So for me, I think a very brilliant decision would be to really watch out on the taxes that they tax on this internet. The internet has to be very affordable, even for the teachers to go online and maybe Google, how can I teach maybe electrons and something in a way that students can understand? What video can I download? And then the second one, I talked about it, policies of startups. You see so many startups fail because the policies don't favor them. For you to run, you need to register your company, right? When you register your company, immediately they want a TIN number. From the TIN number, they want you to pay trading license. Are you seeing you're already spending money
so fast
before you even start to earn the money? You get the point?
I feel your pain, the issues on the taxes, and then the freedom of expression on the digital spaces. But again, I'll come back to you a little bit, Nuruddin. What do we do to the youth who have not understood the magnitude of the digital spaces and how to use them appropriately? Because as a government, it's their job to protect the masses and that people can have, good information. Our digital, and it's our generation, our digital age.
I made a question on Twitter about that.
Yes,
you people are speaking about this anyway.
So how do we strike the balance that government does its job? It gives us the freedom of expression and online platforms as an enabling tool to get the quality education we are alluding to with Linda there. But again, we don't abuse it.
Yeah, the first solution there, thank you so much for hosting us, sir. Yeah, the first solution there is to do what we call mindset change. If I have mindset change, if I have access to information, I have to have the mindset that I'm going to use this internet to promote my products, to increase sales in my business, or to study. So we are supposed to do a lot of mindset change. You should give us airtime on your TV and talk to the people. Please, if you have 2 GB, use them very well.
You should tell the government to use that because
but I also think that the government needs to do something about that. It's what I shared on Twitter. It's good that you are thinking about our digital, our generation.
Yes.
This is a generation whereby you find someone having a phone only watching pornography. Is there any way the Ministry of ICT or betting? Is there any way we can see the Ministry of ICT, Honorable Chris, at least release some things for the young people? I don't know how they're going to do this.
There is a policy against pornography. We even allocated money for a machine.
I know.
That would hit any picture that has been sent to you with that magnitude.
I don't want to go there because people might think
we have never seen. No, but these are the real challenges.
But at some point, yeah, it's right because I remember tagging the UN and all that stuff. It's really we are speaking about our digital, our generation. Our generation has the most rampant cases of teenage pregnancy.
True.
Our generation might have gotten these other teenage pregnancies we have because of the internet. One, Andrew comes here at 7. He goes back home at 8. You bought at
10 p.m.
Yes, you bought a tap to your son, but this son is washing quiet. So to me, I gave out a question. We are speaking about my digital, my generation. In Uganda, is there any way we are going to see that? He has brought the machine I didn't want to speak about.
Yes.
So how are we going to have that?
Angus, there is a percentage of some of us who are serious with our life. for us, we pray government give us internet. We shall use internet in an appropriate way.
Wow.
So what, now you've said that percentage, and that percentage is the minimum. But earlier on, she alluded to something called the no one left behind. So how do we plug the rest of the flock with you, the few who are using it for the rightful benefit, that no one is left behind? What measures can we come up with, and we tell government, if we can do this, maybe we can run a good race?
Yes, sir, to speak to you on that matter, government has done something.
What has it done?
It has come up with a parish development model. And I don't know if they have already employed a parish chief. But for us, we would suggest and recommend to this parish development model to use that structure. The structure is really good because leadership goes up to the cell, up to the village. So if we are to have no one behind, or if we are to take everyone with us on this agenda of SDGs, we really need to put up centers. Digital centers,
hubs.
Digital hubs, that still can also come as a solution to education. Because there are a lot of young people that are not going to go back to senior one. My cousin has already told me I cannot go back to senior one.
Where you come from, Nuruddin, did you get radios when the government said it was giving out radios? You know, I want us to be very feasible when you're discussing these issues. We need to be very feasible. You're asking for a hub. Did you get the radio kwanza?
Now, what the government should do is to really work with the SDGs. We are talking about partnership. Where I come from in Rubaga, we have a big room like this. We have our computers there. So government should come and partner with you, with such people and scale it up. Let us not talk about giving radios to everyone. You see that even Nabanjamane didn't reach to some people.
You've brought Nabanjamane again. Yeah, I'm praying.
Still, these are the issues.
But I hear you.
These are the issues to do with mindset change. You know. So let us use the parish development model to do the right thing. Yes.
Okay. Angus, you wanted to submit something on that?
One, this goes to the minister, Honorable Chris. And Honorable Betty, I saw her speak about our generation.
Yes, our digital generation, our generation.
Wow. You asked him a question about the percentage that is using internet for good.
Yes.
Being 75 of this nation, if we rent agriculture, we only have 11% of the 75 that we already know what agriculture is. If we went to internet, I do not know the statistics, but I believe it's not there. So the best way we can have it to be, I think now, Honorable Chris, it's high time he gets to know that the young girls and boys are having sex. Let me say it like that. I'm sorry if it's an offense, but I think they need now to know pornography is not right in Uganda. The policy has been on in our parliament. I will know about that. I've read about that. So I feel if we are not leaving anyone behind, these young people who are the teens to join us and move for the Agenda 2030, pornography should be off. That is one way we shall remove the sexual harassment and all that stuff, because at some point you find this man sleeping with a girl because she has seen a porn. He has seen a porn, sorry.
Yeah,
that is one. To be when we speak about how are we going to go to 2030 without leaving no one behind, then as soon as the government comes out with a project, please, this goes to the ministries, departments and agents, come out with something that is going to really act. Because by the time you tell us the parish model, some of us have read, it's good, but let this
is it feasible?
Let it be there. Because well, when you read the SDGs, they are so sweet. It's a good Bible, as he said. When you read the National Development Plan 3, it's beautiful. It's so good. When you read about the Agenda 2040, you
just
realize
can't
that
wait.
Uganda is going to be everywhere.
Yes.
But in normal sense, as the minister is doing the right thing. Yes, the young people we are here shouting today, all speaking to the nation. But I feel it all comes back to the right man.
But again, no, I won't allow it to go there. Kwanza, first pull back.
We come back here.
Before we throw it to the government, before we throw it to the president, just to pick the right man at the forefront, have we, as the youth, asked for accountability? And before we ask for the accountability, are we accountable ourselves? Are we part of the agendas? Are we pushing the agendas? If we're pushing the agendas, what are the challenges are we facing from the village level that are possibly stampeding the agenda we want to achieve?
One, I would say, I think I've been on the National Youth Parliament, and I moved a motion about that still. Teenage pregnancy majorly. I think the youth who really know what the agenda is going on, they are doing their will.
Okay.
We just lack information, and now that that text meet internet, people do not have information. Most of us, by the young people now, it's a challenge. Most of us do not want to read. Most
don't
of
have
us
a reading culture.
Most of us do not want to meet Andra and know how did you make it in life. You don't want that.
You sit on the other side.
The only thing you want to do is taking marijuana. Most of us do that, Cuba. And I think now that comes back to the challenge. Anyway, to me, I feel these are young people. It comes back to the family setting.
Oh yeah.
How often
the intention of the parents.
How do you often sit with your kids? If you're a guardian or a caretaker, do you really see this girl or boy as someone in the future? If we can surely have that, then I feel, yeah, that is it. It comes back to the ministries and everything. If the minister can understand that they have given us this grant goes to HIV, specifically HIV. Please do the needful. Give it to the HIV guys. But if we cannot do that, then I surely don't see ourselves there.
Linda, as we're finalizing this conversation, the issue of domestic violence, as you know, it sounds stronger than the bells of the biggest basilica in the world in the COVID-19. And this is something that has been much more cascaded by poverty going forward. If we're to achieve the SDGs of zero tolerance of poverty, what are some of the avenues should we, tap into?
Well, gender-based violence, well, that's a very, very huge thing.
It's huge.
Huge, like, huge. That's why they dedicate almost a whole month to it, to raise awareness on GBV. But I think again, it goes back to empowering the women.
Okay.
The women need to be empowered, because if you can't afford anything for yourself, okay, let me say, there's a time I was invited to do some work in Busi Island, conflict management for families. And when I went to Busi, there is this lady, and the husband was mistreating her. She came to meet the team that I'm going to work with. The husband was mistreating her. The guy beats her up, and not only beating her up, he also sees other women, etc. And this woman is going through all this. But when she came to the guy said, Linda, there is nothing I can do for this lady, because she has to remain with the guy because she doesn't have a source of income. She doesn't have money, and she has her kids. She has her babies to take care of. She still has to go back to that abusive relationship and continue to be in it. So it goes back to empowering the women. We really need to empower the women so that they can be in position to stand for their families, and even amidst the violence and the challenges, they can still stand up and take care of their children. But then it doesn't only focus on empowering the women. Even the men have to be empowered. I like what Nordin usually says, mindset change.
Yes, the mindset change.
Yes, so the men have to realize that how they treat the woman is also affecting their children, how their children are growing up, what they're seeing, and who they're going to end up being in return.
Wow. Well, it's a conversation we can have with me and these brilliant leaders from the Youth Coalition. We can talk from here until Timbuktu and back. But just so you know that the Youth Coalition for the SDGs is an initiative that is comprised of over 30 youth-led organizations and companies from the country working towards achieving the sustainable development goals. Today with me in studios, I was very lucky to have Linda Abeja, and not only that, I had, well, Linda Abeja is the publicity and the partnership secretary from the Youth Coalition for the SDGs. So if you want to partner with them on how best we can achieve the SDGs from the village level to the national level, reach out to her. Then we had Mr. Angus Nasasida, the Western Region Coordinator of the Youth Coalition for the SDGs, very passionate about the girl child, and not only that, he's passionate about the policies that work. And we had Mr. Nordin Businje, a member of the Youth Coalition for the SDGs. Now, as we're finalizing this conversation, it's incumbent on us as a country, as the youth, to be accountable at every action you're doing. Whatever you do, make sure that it aligns and it's in tandem with the SDGs. You and I can actually look at the policies and we read them and we are very excited about them, but if we don't audit the implementation strategies and phases, we're going to fail the country. It's an SDG month of October. Go to your parish, go to your village, go to your district, ask for someone in charge of the SDGs. Reach out to your peers in your area and get to know about this. But it's an information age. Go online. Read about the SDGs. Acquaint yourself with them. There's 17 from the first one to the last one. And what are you doing about them? I'm Andrew Chamagero Muntu, and shortly after me, much more exciting programming follows. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. Good afternoon.